Can we count on you?
Wherever you go, you see the signs. A new century is coming, and with it, 1,000 questions. Will there be peace? Will your family ever be in harm's way? Will a small town in Texas be hit with a hurricane? Will your daughter ever need a new kind of blood treatment? Will that nice man who hands you the paper ever need a hand to hold in a time of need? We have no crystal ball for the world that awaits, just one promise. We'll be there, whether it's in the eye of the storm, in your darkest hour, in your time of need, or in the light of day. We'll be there.
And welcome to the promotional party for Let's Talk Business, a hot new business talk show that's going to take difficult business concepts, translate them so that people like you and I can understand them. I am fortunate tonight to have a lineup of who's who in Philadelphia small business community, and we're going to be doing a series of interviews to talk to them to get some response about this premier party and the importance of Let's Talk Business to the small business community in the city of Philadelphia. I have Mr. Cody Anderson and the Anderson Group because they've started their own individual small business. They've been entrepreneurs before, but they have struck out in a different direction, and maybe we'll get some comments from him.
How you doing, Curtis? Thank you for inviting me. I obviously think that this is a great event. I hope we have more. I've always viewed PCDC as the brick and mortar of our community, and I think that in helping small businesses, you help the interior of our communities grow and become stronger. So I'm totally supportive.
Thank you. Now see, usually he's interviewing me, and I say all of those things, but now I have an opportunity to interview him, and I really feel blessed about that opportunity.
PCDC has done so much to improve the climate for new business owners and to encourage them through the use of loans to try the American ideal, and that is to go into business and make a difference. Small business is going to be the lifeblood of major cities deep into the 21st century. And PCDC, through this program, is encouraging and promoting the growth and development of businesses. Philadelphia is actually proud to have them and benefited by their presence.
I'm here with John Skeef, one of our mentors in telecommunications. He had the vision a long time ago to invest in telecommunications to get our history and our message out. He has gone from the public sector to the private sector with a private school and understands the entrepreneurial spirit. So tell us why. How did you take the leap of faith?
Well, it's something that we use and it's something that we do, and we must control our own destiny, and we have to be self-reliant. So Harambee Charter School, and Harambee is a public charter school, but we have to get our message out in our own interest and image. And the best way to do it is by ourselves. And this way we can teach our children how to communicate effectively so we can tell our story.
And he has a show also on Time Warner and I believe Comcast, right?
Yes, it's actually on the school district channel. It's called East African Contributions to Science and Technology.
Check him out, and then we'll talk business. I'm here with my friends from Philly TV News. They got us our start for Let's Talk Business, and we want to thank them, and also my partner, Lorena Katz, who has her own talk show.
It's nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's nice to be here, and we enjoy having you as a star on the show.
Hi, good evening. Me and my partner, Monty, are here at the premiere celebration of PCDC's Let's Talk Business. We're having a great time. What do you say, Monty?
It's excellent. Good food, wonderful people, getting to know, plugging in, getting a lot of support.
We're great to be here. We're going to have a great time in Philadelphia. Let's talk business.
It's really good to see so many people that I know that I haven't seen for a while, which means that the business population is growing. And part of the reason that the business population is growing is because of the efforts of the president and CEO of PCDC, Mr. Curtis Jones. We want to talk to you this evening about the program Let's Talk Business. and the opportunities for you to get involved. So with that said, I'd like to introduce to you, for those who do not know him, the President and CEO of PCDC, Mr. Curtis Jones.
You know, I'm really blessed to be here. And if I can get everybody's attention just a hot second, I'll get us through this, I promise. First of all, welcome to Allie's Jazz Bistro, which is a PCDC deal. Is our host out anywhere where we can give her a round of applause for her gracious hospitality? And it is truly appropriate that we have this coming out party, because this business is exactly why we are doing Let's Talk Business. It is gratifying for me in any part of the city that I go into, now into my 6th administration, in particular with the street administration, to be able to point to deals like this. But it is equally important to understand, for every yes we say to, unfortunately, we say no. And we believe that with proper information that we can provide through Let's Talk Business, the no's will be fewer, the yeses will be more plentiful. And that's the intention of Let's Talk Business. We're going to show you some of the people that made this possible. First, I want to talk about the folk behind the camera that have made this possible. Alicia of Alley Cats Production and our partner are here, and I want to say that basically, along with Walt Wimberly, we didn't know if we could pull this off, because none of us had experience in front of the camera in any way where they weren't asking you the hard questions, like where did they get the money for the loan and this, that, and the other. This was a more friendly, entertaining, and informative format, and we absolutely did not know what to do. So we got Alicia and Walt together, and they got me absolutely to at some point stop talking and actually listen to their instructions, and it worked out. Alicia Holt and Alley Cats Production for providing a forum for the development of small business and technical assistance in the medium of telecommunications. And this will assist the city of Philadelphia and the overall business community. And it's signed by me.
I'm really speechless this time. All I can say is thank you, Curtis. Thanks for the opportunity, and I love you. I did find a brother over here, and I did forget one very important person, and probably the second most important person to me besides God, and that is George. I didn't forget you, baby. I just didn't see you, and I love you, and thank you for all your support.
George is a trooper too. He puts up with long hours. My next partner is Walt Wimberly. He is a neighbor, also in West Philadelphia, and we put these two together, and it's like peanut butter and jelly, and basically we formed a great sandwich. And we want to see this partnership continue, and we want to thank you all for being here tonight. And this is a kickoff in the beginning. Our next 13 episodes, we want to tell you, you have not seen nothing yet. And we're looking for people in the audience to be guests. I want to also acknowledge the Commerce Department, who time after time helped us to do so many things at PCDC, and just say thank you on behalf of the Commerce Department. We have Jim O'Toole here, who does not get any of the credit, but does a lot of the work that we do. And a part of the deals like we did today are because he's helped us to, and empowered us to do so. Thank you. I just want to thank PCDC staff for working so hard to do this. Carol, Yatina, Alice Dungy, all of them worked all around the clock. And I want to get just one more word in and let Walt Wimberly, who never says anything, never comes in front of the camera to bless us with the word.
If anyone who knows me, they know I'm usually behind the camera, so I rarely say anything. But I'd like to thank Kurt, and I'd definitely like to thank the staff at PCDC. I'd also like to thank my man, John Skeef, and but a very, very special thank you and love to my wife, Corinne. I think for all the times I've been in the studio editing till 5 in the morning. Till 5 in the morning. We at 1. I left him at 1, but 5. Editing. And again, and Kurt, who's over the camera, like to thank you too. And I'd like to say one quick word too to the staff at PCDC. Yatina and Rona and the different people that without you, I definitely have to say a very special thanks to Carol Zachary and Alice Bungie James for their perseverance and for them to stay focused on even this man looking polished. And you know something, we also got to give Alicia some credit because this is a work of art. And he wasn't like that before. So we definitely want to give her some credit for, polishing him. But this is the last time you probably hear from me. I'll go back behind the camera. Take care.
It is more than a trial by fire. It is a rite of passage. And if you can master your fear, outsmart your enemy, and never yield, even to yourself, you will be changed forever. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Frank never knows when he'll wake up to find his arms are too weak to do anything, even shave himself. Frank has multiple sclerosis, an unpredictable neurological disease that strikes young adults, many with children. The National MS Society helps families learn to live with MS. They count on us. Can we count on you?
Hi, I'm Tavis Smiley, and I'll see you on Let's Talk Business.
Wherever you go, you see the signs. A new century is coming, and with it, 1,000 questions. Will there be peace? Will your family ever be in harm's way? Will a small town in Texas be hit with a hurricane? Will your daughter ever need a new kind of blood treatment? Will that nice man who hands you the paper ever need a hand to hold in a time of need? We have no crystal ball for the world that awaits, just one promise. We'll be there, whether it's in the eye of the storm, in your darkest hour, in your time of need, or in the light of day. We'll be there.
Some of the financial partners in this process. You've met also some of the technical people that actually do all of the beautiful things that you see here before you. Now, I'd like to introduce you to some of the folk in front of the camera that actually do the job of translation of those economic concepts that we talk about. First, I'd like you to meet Bruce Crawley, President and CEO of Crawley, Haskins & Rogers. He's going to introduce a concept called marketing, and that marketing, simply put, makes your product get in the hands of your customers.
Let me start with something that I heard a marketing guru say once, a man by the name of Peter Drucker. He once said that nothing happens anywhere in business until somebody sells somebody something. And when you talk about the marketing discipline and advertising, which is a subset of that, and PR, you're talking about ways to sell products or service, to create an image that will allow a company to sell a product or service. Fundamentally, marketing is the broader stroke of all of that. Marketing really encompasses, and when you get down to its most simplistic terms, everything that happens to a product from the point of conception, when you devise the product, when you think about developing the product, everything that happens from the conception of that product to the time that it eventually gets into the hands of the consumer. Everything in the middle of that is marketing.
In our next segment, we talk about procurement, both public sector and private sector. We introduce to you an interesting trio of representing parties, one from city government, the other from Fortune 500 companies, and the third who owns and operates a small business. We introduce Jim Roundtree, Executive Director of the Minority Business Enterprise Council. Then Juanita Hogue, who is the former director of the New Pendel Purchasing Council. And then finally, James Brown, founder of Alpha Office Supplies.
My office was created, as a matter of fact, to ensure that minority women and disabled businesses are included in the entire process.
So you're their advocate and make sure that the process is indeed fair, since affirmative action is unconstitutional based on the courts, but you make sure that there is no discrimination.
Exactly.
How's that done in the private sector?
Well, in the private sector, it really is trying to get them to open the doors to do business with viable suppliers that happen to be minority in this case. The problem there is, or the barrier is, that most corporations are accustomed to doing business with a specific company. And they've been doing this for some time now, so the barrier is breaking through that to introduce them to someone new that has the same capabilities.
So the good old boy and girl network, and having done it that way for so many years, is in effect. So the idea is to break the chain, if you will.
That's correct.
It happens the same way in the public sector. It's basically to take the path of least resistance. If you know a firm has the capability of providing a good or service, and you've been working with that firm for years, you tend to lean more toward developing a relationship with that firm versus trying something new.
For our viewing audience out there, if they want to plug into federal procurement, state procurement, and city procurement, where are the places that they should go?
Well, there's the SBA office, the Small Business Administration office, downtown Philadelphia. There's General Service Administration, downtown Philadelphia. And there is the Governor's Minority Business Affairs office in Harrisburg. And there's also MBEC, the Minority Business Enterprise Council office here. And these are the three places for Fed, state, and local government business.
In this episode, we talk about bridging the digital divide. We bring you two experts in their field, Professor David West from Temple University and Tom Webster from Mentoring Partners. He is the COO, Chief Operating Officer.
If you're a small business, the question is do you have to have a web presence? And my standard answer is, of course you do. It's almost expected. If you don't, you're going to be seen as behind the times. You don't have to start selling things over the internet, but it's a great tool for marketing. You're talking about your storefront being open 24/7.
First thing they have to do is really take the time to understand the opportunity that exists in the marketplace. Just like you would look at any real venue for new business opportunity, you got to do your research. You got to do your research, you got to do your homework, you got to understand what exactly.
Now we bring you the small business perspective from Daryl Boozer, who is the founder of Intelligent Business Systems, and Sarah Aziz, one of his key personnel. So tell me, Daryl, how did you get started in business?
We started about 10 years ago. We've two of us started together. I took my personal savings and started a business.
That was brave.
Yes, it was kind of crazy. But everybody in our business is technical, and that's how we started off with. So everybody had to be technical certified. And we specialize in voice, data, and internet communications.
So Sarah, what are the ABCs a small business needs to know before they jump out on the internet?
Well, point A would be to identify a company that specializes in website designs and development.
Consultant?
Right.
Okay.
Point B would be to register a domain name, such as ours, which is www.ibs1.net.
So that's like an extension of your business card?
Right. You can imprint that on your business card as well as your email address.
And what's the...
Step 3 would be to go out and look around at your different competitions and people that are doing the same, that are offering the same services, and just see what the prices are and just give you a better idea of what's out there.
Ooh, and you know the economy has been on fire lately. The stock market too, which has created a greater demand for access to capital, particularly venture capital. Our next guest, Mr. Wayne Kimmel, is the CEO of the Eastern Technology Fund, where he explains and answers the question, what is venture capital?
What a venture capital fund is we invest, speaking for the Eastern Technology Fund, we invest in startup internet companies and help them grow to get bigger and bigger and bigger and hopefully become one of the great stories on Wall Street, and that's exactly what we try to do for companies.
There are a number of critical factors that can be attributed to the success of most small businesses. Our next guest kind of put it in perspective. First, James Chan, author of The Spare Room Tycoon, clearly identifies what he believes are critical ingredients to that success. Then we have Harold Hambros, President and CEO of Electronic Inc. All this and more as we talk business.
Is a framework of thinking about success in self-employment, and I call it SPARE, S-P-A-R-E.
Elaborate.
SPARE stands for S for self-knowledge. You have to know who you are, what you can do, what you're good at. Mm-hmm. P for passion. You have to have passion in what you do, because it's not just a job. A for taking action. You can't just daydream about being in business for yourself. You actually have to take the plunge. R for realization. Until you bring the idea to the marketplace and know that it works, you really have not realized your dream yet. And E for evolution. The world changes. We keep changing. We have to adapt to changing circumstances.
I think that the best word of advice is to operate according to your passions. Love your work. Don't go into this out of greed. When you venture down a business path, you have to love what you're doing. This is a way of life, developing a business. It's not a job. So if you're going to be happy at this, you need to be doing something you love. So as you go out, you shouldn't be doing this for the almighty dollar. You should be doing this out of a need for personal satisfaction as much as anything else.
So, you think you have a great business idea. Well, that might not be what the bankers think. In this episode, we teach small businesses how to package their idea into a business plan that is financeable.
Bankers look at a formula of things. Most important to them is a business plan. People need to be focused. All businesses start with good ideas and good intentions, but the person who is the business person, the entrepreneur, needs a business plan that will outline exactly what they need to do in order to make the business successful. That includes things like marketing, that includes things like capital into the business, and things like collateral that they intend to pledge for the loan.
99% of all new jobs created are created by small businesses, family-owned businesses, like the one you're about to see, from Z&Z Distributorships. So tell me about Team Z&Z. It's a family-owned business. Right. It's African-American owned. It's neighborhood-based. Tell me about the team that actually runs the day-to-day operation.
Well, the team that runs the day-to-day operation is my wife, who is my right arm, and my father, and my two children.
So it's three generations here.
There's 3 generations here.
With the use of technology, the world has become a global village. We're connected by fax machines, telecommunications capabilities make us a global village. Norm Bond of Next Step magazine has brought a new concept to the workplace called diversity. That concept is no longer viewed as a social issue. It is an economic issue that impacts our bottom line. Diversity is no longer a weakness, it's a strength.
We look at diversity as people coming together with both similarities, because we are similar in certain areas, and then also difference in terms of we have uniqueness that we bring to the table. And what's happening is when you get people coming together with this similarity and difference, it forms a unique mixture, and that mixture is diversity.
One of the most important people in your business is your accountant. They determine whether you're in a business or a hobby. Remember, the bottom line is your bottom line. Our next guest illustrates that by way of the numbers.
The greatest of ideas, the most passion that you can summon up will not make you successful. You have to understand the numbers, and you have to understand the environments that you're going to incorporate those numbers.
Alex Tornes shows us that you can cut out the middleman and increase your bottom line profit. He does so through direct marketing from the manufacturer to his customers with a splash. Biggest difference between selling through a showroom and selling directly to someone's home?
You got to pay attention to detail.
When you're selling in a showroom and you have a regular retail operation, there's a lot of things that you have to do. I mean, there's location, there's advertising, there's selling, there's merchandising. All those things are very, very important. But if you do maybe 3 or 4 of them well and 1 or 2 of them not so good, you can still be successful. But with direct market selling, everything is dependent upon the other. Your advertising, your lead generation, your fulfillment, your sales, your delivery, your service. If one of them fails, your entire operation fails.
Finally, I'd like to take this opportunity to sincerely thank some of our strategic partners. First, Time Warner, and then Comcast Cable, for allowing us access to their airwaves to bring this message to people. Then I'd like to thank the Street Administration for allowing us the opportunity to bring government to the people. And in the end, I'd like to thank the Board of Directors and staff of the Philadelphia Commercial Development Corporation for working so hard and so diligently on this project here tonight. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the evening. The purpose for Let's Talk Business is to take difficult business concepts and make them easier to understand for people like you and I. I believe sincerely that once we learn the rules of the game, we can play it with the best of them. It's important for us not to be afraid of concepts of marketing, product identification, the ability to understand spreadsheets, business plans, and other business concepts in order to be successful in realizing our dream of being business.